Hello, 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 everyone. It is August, which means it is time for July's wrap up. I'm pretty proud of how much I read this month, so let's get into it. Let's do this. I'm going to address the short stories that I read on Everend really quickly because those were just like insomnia reads. One was Small Monsters by E. Lily Yu. It wasn't for me, but it was short enough that I was like, well, let me see if this turns into something that clicks a little bit more for me. It didn't really. It's about this monster who is just like all the other monsters are eating parts of him because they think he's tasty and they don't want to hunt for other things. And so he's like constantly being half eaten by every other monster he runs into and is just like constantly depressed and on the run. And it's about him just trying to constantly escape. And this has good reviews. It's just not for me. The next one I actually really did enjoy. It's The Lies of the Ajungo by Moses Osei Utome. And it's 96 pages. This one is one that just feels like pure lore. It's not going into a lot of details about the characters. It's more about the epic journey that the main character is on and how much weight is on his shoulders and how impossible his quest seems. I really liked it. It's a really cool setting. It's easy to get into. Yeah, it's very vibey. It's very... Cozy's not quite accurate because this kid is like really going through a lot, but just the style of the story, it just feels like an epic that you really enjoy just curling up with. So I liked this one a lot. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. I don't really remember why. I think it's because it was just one that I like it a lot. I'm glad that I had it to read in the middle of the night, but I forget about it a lot. All right, next I'm going to kind of briefly mention books that I read in July. July must have been actually 3 months in one because there are some books that I'm like, that was July still. It feels like forever ago. But I've already talked about these books, so I'm going to kind of just do a little brief summary of them. Okay, we have Toward Eternity by Anton Hur. This is one that I really, really enjoyed. Also, how beautiful is this book? This is Anton's first book of his own. He is a big deal of a translator. This is sci-fi. It is a love letter to language. It discusses what it means to be human. It goes down that ages-old road of what does it mean for humanity to evolve? Where do we draw the line in trying to live longer and be more efficient and all that? It's got a lot of different characters that the story gets passed from one character to another. It's like a relay race, but in book form. And it was honestly a little bit slow for me in the beginning, but then pretty much when it switched to the second character is when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in this. So I really recommend this one because it's super unique. I doubt I'll read anything like this ever. The next one is one that I will just never shut up about. It is Pamela Anderson's autobiography. I love this book so much. I've got like 3 books that I really want to rebind as soon as I'm done rebinding Harry Potter for my friend's mom, and this is one of them. I'm really excited to make this my own. Pamela is a free spirit. She is a book geek. She is extremely strong. She has never questioned who she is and just lives life the way she wants to, and she's very open about that, and that is why this is a 5-star read for me. I love this book so much. It was so much fun to read. And then we have Kaikai by Vaishnavi Patel. I have such a hard time remembering that first name. I don't know why. It's beautiful and I just can't remember it. Also, this cover. I bought this for this cover. I bought this book just for the cover. I didn't even read the blurb on the back. This is sort of a retelling of the Ramayana through the eyes of one of the queens, Rama's mother, the main protagonist of the Ramayana. His mom, the third queen of her husband, tells this story. And it starts when she's a kid. And goes a long, long way after that. And it is an epic journey. It is so fun to read. You get very invested. I was kind of surprised because Song of Achilles is the only other retelling, I believe, that I've read, and I DNF'd it. Do not come for me. I'm sorry. I was bored, okay? I was bored. I went a long way with it. I think I went 2/3 of the way, and yeah, I just didn't care anymore. But this, which is way longer, I only got more and more pulled into this as it went. This is a really good book. Okay, the last one that I have already mentioned in a video, I don't think I was done with it yet, is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I love this book. It has its problems, for sure, as does he. But I still love it. I grew up watching Jurassic Park. I grew up reading about dinosaurs, so obviously I just can't not love it. It's just so nostalgic, but it's so different from the movie. It is so different from the movie. Characters are portrayed differently in the book versus the movie. Different people die in the book. There are different focuses. There's a lot more geeky science data that he shows. Like, he'll show what the computer coding looks like. And it's just kind of fun. It just makes you want to geek out really hard with him. And honestly, if you think about the overall message of this, because Malcolm is a beast in the book. Malcolm is a beast, and he just goes on so many rants. And there are things in this book that feel very ahead of its time, which is so weird because some of Crichton's personal opinions are so archaic. It's so confusing, but this is great. This is great. Even if you've seen the movie a million times, you should read the book. Next up, we have Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. This book was really enjoyable to read. It's beautiful. Just the way she writes is very, very, very beautiful. It's a good rainy day book for me. I think I actually read this on the porch while it was raining, and that was the perfect setting for this. It's a time travel book, but it's a lot more, I don't know, it's just not as rigid as some time travel stories can be. Like, her writing style just changes everything for me. But what's weird is I gave this a really high rating, and I do remember coming inside and telling my friend, okay, this is what happened in the end, and wow, didn't see that coming. But then I actually forgot about it pretty quickly, and I think maybe it's because I wasn't really attached to the characters. Maybe that's it. Because I keep seeing this on my shelf, and I'm like, that was a really good book. Why do I keep forgetting that I read it already? It must be that I wasn't attached to the characters, which didn't bother me because the writing was so beautiful. But not a 5-star read for me, but I do want to read all of her other books. Like, her writing and the fact that I keep saving other books of hers to my TBR before I even see that they're hers makes me feel like I just like the choices that she makes on what she wants to write about. So I'm excited to read Glass Hotel and her other works. You guys, I don't want to talk about this one. I don't want to talk about it. Okay. Acceptance by Jeff Vandermeer. I'm so bummed. I am such a diehard fan of the first 2 books, and I was so let down with this. I mean, it wasn't awful, but I was just very distracted while reading it. And this book is kind of going back and tying up loose ends and filling in the gaps of what you weren't told about what's going on in the other books. So I like that we got the answers we wanted. I do love that. But I don't know. For some reason, my mind was just all over the place while reading this. I think it was just a pacing thing. I think it was dragged out a little too much for what was going on, because there aren't really big events in this book. It's just a lot of different kind of flashbacks thrown together. Not flashbacks, but we're going back in time in different people's stories to kind of get a further explanation of things, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I just didn't like how it was done. And I think I just expected that Jeff Vandermeer could do no wrong, which is so naive. But yeah, I also watched the movie Annihilation, hated it, gonna do a video on it. I think I'm gonna be a little bit bratty about books that I like and movie adaptations, and yeah, this emotionally broke me because the whole second half of the book I was just sad reading it because it wasn't what I needed. I haven't even looked at the reviews of it. I have no idea if I'm the only one who thinks this. Maybe I'll do that tonight because I'm really curious if I'm the only one who felt disappointed by the last book. The next book is one that bummed me out also. It's Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. This book is so dang long. It's so overly long. Sorry guys, I hit the mic. It's like 420 pages and it should be 200 pages. It just should. I will stand by that. I will fight for that. There's just not enough development happening throughout the book for it to go on that long. And then the ending felt rushed after the rest of it felt super dragged out. So I can't wait to do the video on reading this before I watched the movie, which I also didn't like as much as I thought I was going to. And it's just completely different from the book, which is fine. Yeah, this was just not my favorite. Then we have Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. This is a novella. It follows this man in a small Irish town back in the day when Magdalen laundries were still around, and this guy delivers coal and everything to the town people, and one day he's making a delivery to the laundry. He sees something that he cannot get over, doesn't know what to do about it. A lot of people are telling him to kind of mind his business, just let it happen. We've all been ignoring it. You should ignore it. And it's just kind of him figuring out what he wants to do with the information he has, how he comes to make that decision, how it affects him, why he makes that decision. I think it's a really cool story because there is a whole plot outside of him, but it's a really good reason to dive into his psyche and kind of understand why he makes all the decisions he does throughout the book, just in a unique way. And I think the fact that this is about kind of a dark topic, but it's still very cozy and I thought very beautiful to read. It didn't make me super sad. I think that's always an impressive skill when an author can do that. I was pretty happy with this book. I will definitely read more from this author. Okay, I'm going to talk about a depressing book and then I'm going to end on a really good note. This book I think everybody should read. It was really, really hard to read. It did not feel good to read, but it was so impressive. It's necessary to read. And that is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. This woman she is so smart. I have never seen anybody dissect just the ugly side, the realistic side of human nature the way this woman does, and dumb it down in a way that I think anybody who reads this book should be able to understand the point she's trying to make. We follow different characters, but the book says we're mainly following one. It's this little girl who, she's black and she really wants to have bright blue eyes. She is just known for being very ugly, and she doesn't understand why what she is ugly. And we follow her through her life and through her traumas, through the traumas of all the people around her. It explains why people are the way they are in her life. And it's really hard to describe this book. It's such a massive topic. There's so many layers to how she attacked this thing, and her writing style is absolutely gorgeous. But then she's just so, I would love to see an interview with her. She's so intelligent, clearly. And I had heard that before reading it, and that's the main reason I picked this book up. I did not know what I was getting myself into, but brace yourself. Maybe tandem read this with something more lighthearted, but I do think everybody should read this book. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And for the last book, it is Morning Star by Pierce Brown, who is currently my favorite author. And this trilogy is, the first book of this trilogy is my favorite book. And this book was so good. This book slaps. There is so much action. There are so many twists. He just toys with your emotions the whole time. Brown knew how attached people were to his characters when he wrote this, I swear. Because yeah, he messed with me. I was so nervous for so many sections of the book. I just like had to take a deep breath and just get through it because I was so scared of what was going to happen to so many characters that I really like. The characters just keep getting better throughout this series, and that's amazing because there are so many good characters in the first book. I'm happy that this trilogy ended really, really well. There's not a bad book in the trilogy. This guy is about 500 pages. Does not feel like it. Does not feel like it at all. I actually did not remember it was that long because I flew through it. Also, his note about writing the book at the end is really, really cool. He talks about how he was scared of disappointing audiences, and he did not. You should definitely get into this trilogy. This trilogy, somebody please have the budget and the good taste to make this into a movie, but a good one someday. I will be their opening night. So that's what I got into in July. I am already, I think I've started off with maybe 2 5-star reads for August. So I'm pumped. I can't wait for next month's video because I have never read 2 books that are so good at the same time. And I'm having a time of my life. So I hope you guys are into something good right now. And please let me know if you're reading anything that you think I would like to read, that you think anybody needs to know about that's underhyped. Hype it up in the comments. And have a good rest of your week, guys. Bye.